an area called the Bahama Banks. 10 miles north of the island of Bimini in the Bahama Banks is a pyramid sitting out in the ocean floor. It's got an all-seeing eye at the top. It's got a big opening for an eye at the top. And when you fly over at a certain time of day, when the sun's hitting the ocean at a right angle, at the particular angle, you can see into the ocean pretty well, and you can see a pyramid sitting on the ocean floor. Now, nobody seems to think that that's very important, because it doesn't have anything to do with football. But I got to think to myself, I wonder why there's a pyramid on the ocean floor, and why are there huge temples off the coast of Cuba in the ocean, and off of Japan, Okinawa. There's enormous, huge temples in the ocean off the coast of Okinawa, off the coast of Cuba, around and off the coast of Greece. There are huge temples. I mean, what about those computers? The computer that was found, the incredibly complex computer that was found off the coast of Greece on an old sunken Roman ship.
That was down there for 2,000 years old. I read an article on that, and I read several articles on the temples and the buildings they found off of Cuba and Japan and Okinawa.
Yeah,
but I did not know about the ones off of Greece or down off of the Bahama Banks.
Oh, I got another one for you. Did you know that? And I've got a picture of it. It'll blow your mind. From the space shuttle, they have special cameras that are taking pictures of the Earth for natural resources, for oil and gas and whatever, and they're photographing. The Navy was photographing the oceans of the world for military purposes, and they photographed the Atlantic. And in the Navy pictures of the Atlantic Ocean, there is an enormous, looks like maybe a 1,000 miles square, maybe more, of network of squares and blocks and squares. And it looks like a town. It's all cut up into squares. Some are large squares, some are oblong squares, and they're all cut up and put together into one big, huge monstrosity of squares on the Atlantic floor ocean, and the ocean floor. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is that? I mean, water currents don't make squares. And, there's stuff going on the moon that we're not being told. I've talked to scientists and physicists. As a matter of fact, are you aware of the fact that Saturn, the planet Saturn, is inhabited? We know that we see things going into Saturn with that space probe. There are pictures of spaceships, whatever they are, some kind of a vehicles that are going into Saturn and coming out of Saturn. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they've got pictures of these things coming out and going into the planet. And but it's not something that's widely known. Why? Well, because it doesn't have anything to do with football. You probably, and so the masters of this human race don't figure you need to know. But I've had some scientist friends who are really Class A, interesting people, and they've shown me. They brought a briefcase to a conference I was attending up in San Francisco one night, and they said, and we went into the lobby and sat in the corner of the lobby, and they said, I want to show you something because you're always talking about Saturn. Let me show you some pictures that nobody knows exist, but they got it from NASA. And showing these ships going into the planet and coming out of the planet. And then they're telling me, the scientists are telling me that we know for sure that the rings are artificial, and that they have been made. Someone has made those rings. And of course the the hexagon on the North Pole of Saturn. That's another interesting phenomena. There's a hexagon on Saturn at the North Pole. What is that all about? Why is the Jewish God, the ancient Hebrews or the Hebrew people, worship the planet Saturn? And they have something called the Star of David, which is a hexagon. Why? Because we have about 4 minutes left. Well, all I would say is that the world is far bigger than you think, and God is too big for one religion.
Thank you. What about, have you heard anything about vehicles going into and coming out of the sun?
Yes, I've heard that, and I've seen pictures of it. And I don't think that that's too far out, because I've seen actual photographs and pictures of UFOs going into volcanoes in Mexico. They went in the volcano. You got pictures of it, seeing them going into a raging volcano. Now, if they have the technology from wherever they've come from to be able to fly into a burning volcano and come out and not even be touched, that's some heavy-duty technology. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to mess with it. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised that there's stuff going on in this world that you have no idea in the world that's happening. You have no idea in the world what's really going on this planet, and who they are and what they're really doing. I am totally convinced for my own self that we have extraterrestrial life forms on this planet right now, and they are a superior breed, and they are playing games with us. And we're so profoundly stupid that we don't even see it.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I do too. I know what's going on. I know what the government knows. I know what they're doing.
If you get a chance, go up on YouTube and type in the word Trump UFO.
Okay.
There is a very short video up there that a friend of mine did a short analysis of. When Aaron McCullum was here in November of last year, we taped 3.5 hours of what we call a blinker.
Yeah.
And when he did his analysis of it, you can see that there's energy comes off of this in 360-degree perfect rays.
Yeah. Mhm. I know. Well, and by the way,
we have about a minute left, Jordan.
Well,
would you like to come back in time for a part 2?
Well, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. What I would say is go on my website to jordanmaxwell.com and go through all of the website. Don't just look at the home page. Go through all of it, the audio, video page, the links. Check out the entire website. If you want to buy something from the website, that wouldn't hurt either. But go through the entire website. I put a lot of work into it, and it's all there sitting for you. It's all there for you.
And that's www.jordanmaxwell.com.
You got it.
Jordan, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting this invitation, and I appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone who's listening to it tonight or who will listen to it will appreciate it too.
Well, I appreciate your friendship. You were there for me when